All right. Welcome, everyone, to the latest Trees Around the Globe Student Research Campaign webinar. This is actually webinar number 83 for the campaign in year seven. We are in year seven, not 83 webinars in year seven. That would be a lot, but for the life of the campaign so far. So this is a State of Trees, July 2025. Today is Thursday, the 17th of July, 2025, and we are going to be talking about lessons learned from 30 years of the GLOBE program annual meeting and participant experiences of 30 years of tree height and land cover observations. And we will be featuring some presentations and some posters that were presented at the GLOBE annual meeting just earlier this week. And then we will also have our own Peter Nelson talk about something that he mentioned, that he discussed and presented on at the last webinar, looking at when he talked about the program that he's working on, the Adopt a Pixel, and the pacing activity that we talked about. So I don't know how much of that data came in, but Peter can talk about that a little later on. So before we get started with that, I want to, as I always do, I like to throw a couple like inspirational quotes in here, and I have two from some folks here. One is from John Lewis, who is an American civil rights activist and a member of the former member of the United States House of Representatives. And since we were talking, all about the GLOBE community this week, especially, one of the quotes here is from John Lewis. What I try to tell young people is that if you come together with a mission and it's grounded with love and a sense of community, you can make the impossible possible. Thought that was a lovely quote. And then one from Jean Vanier, a Catholic philosopher and theologian and the founder of L'Arche community. One of the marvelous things about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way we couldn't as individuals. So I thought those were two interesting ones since we've come together this week as a community with the GLOBE annual meeting, albeit virtual. We really enjoyed being in person, but being virtual this week, we had a lot of people coming together in the hundreds. So we had lots of great things going on, the first part of this week. So in the spirit of community and the GLOBE program and the annual meeting, wanted to bring these, two quotes here that I found inspiring and, endearing when it comes to community. So we have a relatively busy agenda today. As I mentioned, we're going to return a little bit. We'll bring it to Peter to just give some an update on the returning to the Adopt a Pixel 3KM, and then revisiting something that we talked about, the community challenge, the 5-minute data density walk. And then we will then go into some of the things that we did at the 2025 GLOBE virtual annual meeting earlier this week on Monday and Tuesday. We have a couple flash talks. One is going to be Learning Through Trees, Leading Through Science, the LAC's, Latin American and Caribbean regions regional campaign. And it's going to be a video presentation that I'm going to show. And then the presenters for that are here to answer any questions or any commentary. Mariana Savino, Ana Prieto, Andrea Ventosa, I'm not sure if Claudia's here, and Josefina Gonzalez. And then that is after that, we have a recording from Trees Help New Schools Discover GLOBE. Unfortunately, Lenka and Sia could not be here. Sia just had a child, and Lenka is on holiday, so they cannot be here. But I want to show this recording anyway. Lenka provided this to me. It's a great recording. You may have seen it during the annual meeting, but since Lenka and Sia have been such a huge part, as the European Phenology campaign has been such a huge part of our Trees Around the Globe student research campaign, I really wanted to show this during this webinar. Then after that, we will highlight several posters that were presented during the annual meeting. And if you didn't get a chance to check out the poster session on the GLOBE annual meeting pages, go check that out. We had lots of active discussion. Mine is on there. I didn't actually put mine on here, but I will show mine here. The 7 years of the Trees Around the Globe student research campaign. But we will start off with Larissa Shelkin. She is here. The Unifying Power of Science, highlighting contributions of GLOBE community members and GDI fellows. Morella Turk-Saravecki, I'm going to show this poster. She could not present today, but is How Green is Varzin in Croatia. And then Snejana and Christina. I saw Christina. I don't know if Snejana's on. Maybe I didn't notice the participant list right now. But the Dubovec Primary School, actually, I think so, but I did see Dubovec Primary School is here. Karlovac, Croatia, 2004 to 2024. So we have some, great things to present today. Excited to see all of these, and the reason why we wanted to bring all these folks in to present what they've doing is because everyone here has been such a huge part of the Trees Around the Globe student research campaign for the last 7 years, from the individual educators to the regional office, the members of the regional offices, to the European Phenology Campaign, to the LAC region, to the students involved with their presentations that they've been doing over the last 7 years. And I think this is a great way, since we just had the Globe annual meeting this week. I think this is a great way to kind of have this webinar to tie up, sorry, not tie up, but wrap up a great week for the annual meeting with this webinar, with things and presentations and posters that tie into what we're doing in the campaign and what we have done in the campaign over the last 7 years, and especially over the last year during this year 7. All right, so a couple of metrics here that I want to showcase. As usual, this is our reach right now for the Trees campaign. I know Globe, there's 127 countries involved. And if anybody got that wrong during the annual meeting, you should be ashamed of yourself. No, I'm just kidding. But it's 127 countries. I did see some people answered, some strange answers in that poll that they did. I believe it was on Tuesday. They did it might have been Monday, a poll asking how many Globe countries there are. But yeah, 127 countries. We're active in 69 of those countries, which is great. Here are metrics from year 1 all the way through year 7. Bring your eyes down to year 7, where we are now. We have a great number of measurements, so far from year 7, which began on the 1st of October of 2024. We have over 34,700 measurements of tree height, land cover, and greenings from just over 10,180 global sites. And for the life of the campaign, which began on the 15th of September 2018, in conjunction with the launch of the NASA Ice Cloud and Land Elevation Satellite 2, or ICESat-2 satellite, we have a combination of over 243,000 observations from over 74,000 global sites, and that's as of about an hour ago, when I did some metrics on the using the Globe ADAT system and the Globe API system to grab those numbers. So, and as I always add this disclaimer, not every one of these observations are coming from active Trees Around the Globe student research campaign members, but I wanted to include all these because this is data that students can use as part of our campaign, because we're focusing on that tree height and land cover and greenings during this campaign. And I always like to say too, a lot of those, the majority of those green up, green down, greenings observations are coming from our good friends at the European Phenology Campaign during their spring and fall campaigns as part of their mission. So, super excited that they continue that. The team out of the Czech Republic of Lenka, Donna, and Bara. So, thank you and hats off to them. All right, so I'm going to briefly pass it over to Peter Nelson, so he can talk a little bit about that, kind of remind us, what the Adopt the Pixel 3 KM is, and take it away, Peter.
Thanks, Brian. As usual, a little bit of a delay on my part, but hopefully it all works well today. I'm really excited because for the last 5 years, we have been, or me and a group of researchers have been really kind of trying to look at small areas in a hotspot approach. And hopefully some of you were able to join us about an hour ago for the Globe Observer Connect or Go Connect conversation, where we talked a little bit about how this data density actually helps us with our classifications, with our mapping, and a variety of other really useful things when you're sort of take this hotspot approach. And so, one of the things that I want to just kind of share with you is one of the maps that I've been putting together with a group of other students. And this kind of goes into a paper that and some work that is really looking at the location of our data. Right. And this location of our data is really, really important because if we're not in the right location, then we can't really do that comparison to satellite data, regardless of what it is. Okay, so that's kind of one of these first really important pieces. And here you're probably looking at like, what the heck am I seeing here? But one of the things that's also, important is in that location, is it reasonable to have a really tall tree? Right? Or is it reasonable to have a certain type of species in that location? This type of data screening is actually really, really important. Again, when we're not putting data into the globe database, but really when we're trying to analyze it and look outwardly with it. And so you can actually kind of see, I think, a really interesting pattern that sort of emerges here. And yes, I'm focused on North America just for demonstration. But one of the things that comes up is like I see kind of this area where we don't have a lot of trees in the middle of the country. We have some purple areas that are actually land cover observations. And so I just kind of want to really highlight how important it is to start putting your data onto reference material like this, because that is a different way that we start looking at our information. I think one of the things too that I wanted to share with you is, it's when we put it onto a map like this, we can actually start to again maybe start seeing some patterns. And one of the things that I'll highlight is where most of our tall trees are in the world. Well, it's actually on the west coast of the United States. We have some other ones over here, in various other places around the world. But this sort of looking at where the tallest trees are in your location, is one way that we're starting to look and do this comparison between what Brian was talking about, those ISAT-2 measurements, and what we're actually seeing on the ground. Okay, so what I want to really kind of show you is here a bit of an example of what a group of us have been doing when we can actually start zooming into particular locations and starting to do some hotspot analysis, as it's called. So one of the things that you should start seeing in our data is actually clusters. Clusters where we're finding data where we're having participation. And one of the things that happens is these tend to be in cities. So this is just one thing that is a bit of a challenge, but also I think an opportunity for us that the data is showing us we need to get outside of the cities and start mapping out some of these other locations. And so if we zoom in on one of these locations, one of the things that I hope that you can see with this is data density. And this is data density with the land cover. And what this really allows us to do is start to understand not just the single measurement, but actually maybe start averaging together all the trees in this location. So when we start looking at where we're recording our trees, one of the things that becomes really important is this base map or reference material. And I am specifically not in the Globe Viz system because that lies to you with where you are trying to compare. And that is some details that we talked about in the past in our campaigns. So you really want to be looking at the measurement data because, again, one of the things that's really important is that we're comparing the exact tree that you're trying to measure with the trees that we're measuring from space. And so to really do that, you have to zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, right? And so I want to encourage you to do that, because this is where we can start making sure that we're talking about the right trees. And we're talking about the same trees. And so one of the things is I'm trying to figure out, like, oh, is this point related to this particular tree? And one of the cool things when you zoom in like this is you usually pick up the tree shadow itself. And one of the things that comes from that is you can then tell the shape of the tree. And so it really does help us to make sure we're talking about at least the same shape of trees, right? So one of the things that I want to encourage you to do is open up the data that has been submitted and ask yourself, is it reasonable to have a 139 centimeter tree in this circumference tree in this location? Um, is it reasonable to have leaves on the tree at this time of year when this measurement was taken? The other thing that I want you to sort of pay attention to is, yeah, in October, is it reasonable to have leaves on those trees? The other really important number that we have been emphasizing in the GLOBE program is your location accuracy. So this is reporting that this isn't necessarily in this location. It could be anywhere within a 74-meter radius around that point. So I am now wondering, are we talking about the same tree as what I'm looking at, looking down? So this is a really important piece. And as we scroll down, you can finally find some important numbers. Is it reasonable to have a 20-meter tall tree in this location? And I'd say yes. 20-meter tall, 60 feet approximately, is a reasonable tree height for this particular location, just kind of from my understanding. We can double check that with other data, but that's something that's really important. Because if you report a 220-meter tall tree in this location, um, that might flag because it's outside of what is usually reported for this location. The other important thing that we're able to start doing here is looking at this ground photo, and we can start seeing the shape of the tree. If we take it at about the same time as when our satellites go over, the shadows that we see here on the ground might also align. And so all of these things, if we have more than one photo, really allow us to have confidence that we're talking about the same thing. And so I'll go back to our map here. And this is our challenge, right? Is okay, we're saying the tree is located here, but if I zoom in, where is it really located, right? This gets into that uncertainty piece that we want to help resolve through our data density. And so actually having some other photos nearby, again, allow us to maybe scroll down and look at the photos. This one has a really interesting different shape to it. If we look at it, we can actually start to see the leaf structure and the way that the leaves come together as bunches of needles, right? So again, I want to just encourage you to go out and do some of this data density, because it really is what we need to do to improve and make sure we're talking about the right trees. And we're talking about the same information as our satellite data. And I will end with saying what we're trying to make sure that we're doing is when we look at a land cover map, we can actually see the same trees, hopefully in the same locations as these maps. And if we're starting to see some misalignment, like in this location or maybe here, well, that's where our ground photos can really help us understand, is the map right, or what are we seeing in this location? And it might take you looking out and saying, oh, yeah, there's actually an urban, there's some streets there. So again, this is our science challenge in the GLOBE program, really, is trying to reconcile what we see on the ground with the satellite derived data. So it's been a lot of fun to do this data density like this, and having these multiple tree observations like this is incredibly useful. And before I hand it back, what I want to really stress is how important it is to look at our numbers and looking at the distribution of your tree heights. So one tree height by itself is interesting. But overall, we found that we have collected and averaged about a 12.8-meter tall tree through all of our observations. The tallest tree that's reported is around 99.92 meters tall. But we can see that most of our trees are on the shorter side of things. And is that really the reflection of our communities? Or, do we just have a bunch of short trees globally around the world? Um, but this distribution is something that you can do when you do a lot of data collection in one area like this. So I really want to kind of stress it's really nice to have all of this data, but take this extra step to start looking at the numbers that are getting reported, especially in relation to some of the satellite data that we have out there, right? And are they reflecting the ground or these measurements that we have? So with that, Brian, I want to hear from some of these students who've been doing some of this data collection out there, and really, and see what we've been measuring out there, and what people have been doing. Besides this group of students who are doing this data density experimentation.
Thank you, Peter. And per request in the chat, can you put the link to the map you just showed?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions for Peter or any discussion? As you know, we've talked a lot about in this campaign about data density and the importance of it. And Peter has talked about it a lot. And this is one of the things that, the scientists really look for, this data density. And we've talked about this multiple times as well when we do these comparisons between the ground-based observation through GLOBE and the space-based observations from missions like ICESat-2 or Landsat or JEDI on the International Space Station. We've talked about this a lot because the scientists look for these areas of, dense forested areas, areas of land cover that we're seeing changing all the time to get that dense data at those locations. Because as you know, these satellites are taking just incredible amounts of data and getting that data density as well. You have missions like ICESat-2, as you know, that are, providing a terabyte to a terabyte and a half of data a day. That's a lot of data coming in all the time. And that's just one of the 30 plus satellites that are observing our planet right now. And I see Tracy, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, thanks. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, sounds great.
Okay, great. So, Peter, I have a question about a comment you made. You said something about the number of observations in an area. So, the number of observations on the same cluster of trees, or are we talking about variety of observations on the different kinds of trees in a particular area?
Yeah. Okay. So Tracy, you kind of cut out there, at least on my side of things. But I think, one of the big things is we now have the ability to measure individual trees. And whether they be coming from your community street tree inventory that puts you in exact location, that's sort of the gold that foresters are looking for. Is exactly where every tree is planted, so that they can do a stem count. And that allows us to come up with carbon estimates or some other things like that. But you're exactly right, in terms of it's really easy to know an individual tree when it's out by itself, and that we're talking about the same things. But as soon as you start moving into that closed canopy category, you're exactly right, where it becomes really hard to know which tree we're talking about. And this gets into some surface roughness and also how there's different species that are in the top of the canopy versus those that are in the lower understory of the canopy that we're actually seeing on the ground. And that complexity is exactly what we're trying to capture with these things. And so, I think, Tracy, one of the big things that's really important that we've found is that if you take 4 observations of a tree that's out there in its on its own, and by 4, I mean, why not do it from each different direction, from the north, from the east, from the south, from the west? That really allows us to do that averaging to have confidence that the coordinates are in the right location. It also gives us some variability around our tree height estimate. And maybe on one side you were a little bit more short, other times you were a little bit more long. So I would recommend actually the easiest place to make sure we're talking about the same trees is when we're more in a sparsely treed area. It's a lot easier to line those things up. But this is, I think a really important thing that, leads us into actually needing to find other instruments like NISAR or some radar instruments that allow us to, again, try to count the number of stems that are in a location. That circumference is one measurement, but the whole tree canopy circumference is a whole nother measurement that really gets at your question. How closely are we aligning with what we can measure from above and what we can measure from below? So Tracy, I kick it to, can you see that individual tree in that base map? If so, try to get to it. Otherwise, you are seeing something that most of the satellites will not see, which is that stem density, which is a lot of fun in the Redwood region and the Pacific Northwest region, where you have circumference of trees that are just really large. Or as you start moving into tropical forests, where you have these fluted bases, which take up a lot of space, but then the actual size of the stem is much smaller than the canopy or the root structure on there. So yeah, so Tracy, thank you for sort of bringing up the challenge of aligning. And this is why forestry has been a research area for remote sensing for so long, is because different values are associated with these different metrics. And height is one really interesting metric. As Brian has highlighted, it does give us an indication of how um, healthy an area might be, or how much competition there might be. Some of those kinds of things. But it is really complex. And when you look at the satellite imagery, I'll end with saying we have this thing called layover effect that actually makes the top of the tree in a different place than the base of the tree, just because of the technology of satellite or of imagery, of having a lens. So I'll just say, when you look at the satellite imagery, try trying to find the top of a tree and the bottom of a tree, and they're not in the same pixel location on these maps. And so, yeah, so Tracy, thank you. And let me know if that didn't really clarify that, because it is an ongoing challenge.
Larissa?
Oh, yes. Hi. Thank you. I just want to say, can't help myself, but just saying these are my favorite webinars on the tree campaign with Brian and Peter, and absolutely amazing, amazing, passionate, enthusiastic presentations by Peter. I'm trying to attend to all of them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And a quick question. Many of our students from different countries, when we refer to the ISRI maps or ISRI information, they are running into some challenges because in asking us how they can get access to ISRI. Do they have to have a account, or should they approach local university? Can you just explain it to those who are here today from many different countries, how they can really, even this example, when you click on that, a great link that you provided, not everyone have access to it. Thank you very much, Peter.
You are right, Larissa, and this is our challenge as scientists, and is trying to provide this data globally. And so ESRI and what I just showed is one place where sometimes you can view data for free. We can share data for free, but there's always this knowledge transfer that gets in the way. And so this company does have local offices around, and so there is the ability to reach out to the ESRI company to provide this technology that allows you into this global mapping community. However, I will really highlight, Larissa, one of my other, favorite ones. And Brian, I know we've got some presentations coming up, but I wanted to show you something that we've brought up in the past. And this is a much more openly accessible mapping program called EarthMap. And this is one of these things that we've used a lot this summer, in part because it gets us around some of these just data issues, like you were highlighting, Larissa. And so on here, is actually tree height, land cover, all of these things, and it is provided by the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization. And what I like about it is that you can actually share this map, you can explore this data without having to have a license or an agreement. And so, I just want to, quickly show you, like, if I click on a location here, that's a watershed area, I can actually go in and do some analysis that gives me some results back. So Larissa, this takes us beyond just the looking at the data to actually being able to calculate or find out information like a model of hydrology and water movement inside of here. The other day, I was looking at just a small 100-meter area, and we have predictions of land cover in a 100-meter area. And this allows you to go into a location and get information back. And so luckily they've got lots of tutorials on this, Larissa, so I don't have to show you all of these things right now, but it's really incredible because earlier in our campaign, Brian and I put together for every country, what is the average tree height? What is the average land cover that you might see? This particular data map, as I was highlighting, it's really important to talk about the same tree because we have a global 1 meter tree height. And this
Looks
actually
like
goes.
We have temporary technical issue, Brian.
Oh, of course. Yeah. So luckily I'm pausing, Larissa.
I hear
things catch up.
I can hear you fine, Peter. I'm not sure.
Okay. Good. Luckily, I'm not moving around on my map. It's just like for visual. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little pause. It was a little pause, but thank you, Peter. Yeah, go ahead.
It might be just something, just a bandwidth thing. Yeah.
But for all of our students, thank you very much, Peter. And for all of you who are interested in really diving into the Earth map, thank you to Brian for sharing a link in the chat room. And for students who are watching this in recording, please make sure you visit these sites because this is really incredible amount of information. And this is a priceless resource. And it's free resource, right, Brian?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much to Peter. And for, again, one more word for all our students as they acquire many different 21st century skills. I would love to really highlight the passionate style of Peter presentation. As we say in the professional world, sometimes you might not remember the content of presentation, which I'm sure we will, but you always remember how it was delivered, right, Brian?
Right.
Yeah,
Peter definitely has passion. He has enough passion for all of us, for sure.
exactly. So I think we all appreciate your passionate, enthusiastic style. Thank you, Peter.
And what I put in there too, another link I put in there, Peter mentioned that we created the maps for all the 127 globe countries, and I apologize for the really long Google Doc link, but it's there. But you can go in there. There's listings. There's an image and data for all 127 countries, and we did this. We've been adding to it, but we created this. I believe it was we started in year 5 and finished most of it up in year 6, but it is there. That's the one with the long link. And then Peter actually posted another link in there as well. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen again so we can continue. We will continue with some of the presentations now. Let me go ahead and do that. All right, Peter Falcon, look good on your end?
Yep, looks good.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, sorry about any technical things, but I think it's a bandwidth issue. It happens. All right, so we're going to get into some of the presentations now that we had during the Globe Annual Meeting. We're going to start off with 2 of the flash talks, and we have some of the presenters here. As I mentioned, the first one we're going to show is going to be Learning Through Trees, Leading Through Science, LAC's regional campaign. Mariana Savino, Ana Prieto, Josefina Gonzalez from Globe Argentina, Andrea Mendoza from Globe Uruguay, and Claudia Caro, Globe Peru. And I have they are here to answer questions, but I'm going to play the video that they sent me, and this is one that that was also presented during one of the breakout sessions. So I will show this, and then Peter Falcon will then ask for any questions to the presenters following this, and then we will go to the next one. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, the next one, we don't have anyone here for the next one, but I wanted to show it anyway because those folks have been such an important part of our campaign. But let me go ahead and make sure my volume's up, and I'm going to start this. Here we go.
I am presenting the Learning Through Trees, Leading Through Science, LAC's regional campaign.
I'm going to pause a second. Can you hear that? Is that okay?
Yeah, we hear it fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I am Andrea Mendoza from Uruguay, and also with Claudia Caro and Ana Prieto are the campaign leaders, and Mariana Savino, the regional officer, and Josefina Gonzalez, the assistant, are the officers from the regional office who support us in this campaign and the initiative of this experience. This presentation highlights the main achievements of the campaign within these 3 core components of the program. These are the main 3 objectives we proposed ourselves for the 3 years of campaign. In the year 1, the focus was on the common tree species in Latin American and the Caribbean countries, with their phenotypes and the variables related to their development. In the 2nd year, the focus was in climate and carbon. And the 3rd year, the focus was in 3 sub-topics: surface temperature, mangroves, and mosquito habitats. Regarding scientific achievements of the campaign, the main one for us, it was the number of projects presented to International Science Symposium, where 57 projects have been presented since 2013 till now, and with a high quality, and most of them related to the campaign topics. Of course, to trees and land cover and carbon. And on the right, you can see some of the projects presented to the symposium. As scientific achievements, we also have the high number of data collected by teachers, students, and citizen scientists in protocols like surface temperature, air temperature, precipitation, trees, land cover, and of course, clouds. That is the most popular protocol in the campaign. More than 735,000 measurements were collected since the beginning till now, with 29,000 data from trees measured. On the right, you can see a graph with the totals of data and the totals of trees year by year. The protocols, as I mentioned, it was the protocols from biosphere and atmosphere, and also one from hydrosphere. This year, we included mosquitoes, as we mentioned. 7 intensive observations periods were implemented for teachers and students and citizen science, and 1 data challenge during the regional meeting. Another important scientific achievement was the compilation of a list of more than 20,000 tree species from Latin America and the Caribbean that was included in the website by the informatics technicians, and that made available the tree species for teachers to identify their own species in their countries. Another educational achievement was the trainings we have implemented through these years, and also the webinars that we do monthly with a total of 27, where 19 presenters were invited to some of them, 8 from NASA and GLOBE, and 11 from the rest of the scientific community in LAC. Another educational achievement was the creation by the team of 17 new tutorials in Spanish, English, and Portuguese. And this year we have started working in 3 working subcommittees, 1 from urban heat island, 1 for mangroves, and 1 for mosquitoes. And they are working on the webinars, the workshops, and also learning activities that are being prepared. A great achievement was also at the level of community involvement, where the participation of teachers, students, and citizen science was very important. Also, we made some podcasts with the students, and creative contest, drawing contest, and photography contest to make the campaign known in the region. And also the participation of students and teachers in the regional meetings was also very important to promote the projects and incentive them to present them to International Virtual Science Symposium. Thank you very much. We are now available for questions. Thank you. I am presenting the...
I don't see any questions in the chat box yet, but I'm blown away by the amount of data collected.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Quite a lot. My question would be like, how does one go about starting a project this expansive? I mean, what are like the meetings like, and how do you start something like that?
Sorry, Peter, can you repeat the question, please? How do we start the campaign?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a very successful campaign over the past couple of years. How does one go about?
We were inspired by Brian's, with your campaign, with the Trees Around the Globe campaign, but from a regional perspective, me as the regional coordinator was trying to create something really tailored for our region and having into account the seasons and the school calendar. So we adapted your campaign, and we also was inspired by Europe's and Eurasia campaign too, and we just try to involve as more people as possible, and we work really closely with the teachers and the students to maintain them engaged and willing to participate. So yes, we are a great team. And I think that the most important thing is making them understand that they have their own campaign. It is the first time that we have a campaign tailored for our region, and I think it was really helpful for teachers and students having this opportunity to be part of a regional campaign. I don't know if Anna or Andrea would like to say something more.
Yes, I would like to say also that not only teachers and students are part of these campaigns, but also citizen science took an initiative to participate. They registered to the campaign year by year, and when we do the data count month by month with Anna, we noticed that they are participating always in the IOPs and the monthly measurements. So the three actors are teachers, students, and citizen scientists. All of them. Thank you.
And just, oh, go ahead, Anna, please.
Yes, I think it's necessary involvate the tourist guide or ranger park for the citizen science. Maybe it's very important make workshop specific for these people, this area in all the world. But the tourists go to the remote areas, don't have a data. Is very important. Maybe tourists is need or like make measurement with globe server, for example. Is for the globe community have a data from the remote area with the school is very have a little opportunity to go to this area, for example.
And Peter made a comment. He really enjoys the idea of having tourists contribute to the local data as well.
Anna, you're onto a great idea there in terms of how we work together as a global community, right? And so whenever I go anywhere, I use Globe Observer and leave data behind. And so you'll see conferences that I went to and other things like that. And I feel like that's a stewardship opportunity for all of us to give back to those places that we're at, especially if we're only going to be there for a small amount of time. Like you said, we might be going to places that otherwise we wouldn't be able to get measurements from. And I think that was what I kind of highlighted earlier too. We need to get out of the cities, right? There's a lot of other places. So if us as students aren't able to get out there, how do we engage those people who are going to those locations? And I'll just say Brian's background behind him is a great example because he did that on vacation in California, right, Brian?
Right. Yep.
I do notice we have Claudia. I think it's Claudia on the line. If you wanted to unmute and say a few words as well, if you would like. I just want to give everyone on the team an opportunity to speak. For me, knowing each one of you, I'm not surprised this is such a successful campaign. Not only do I know you personally, but I know you guys are really good friends with each other, and I'm sure that helps. So yeah, I'm not surprised that it's to see so much data is really cool.
Yes, and I think that something that was really helpful for us or for the participants of the campaign, that parallel of the webinars and the IOPs and everything that we did, especially for the campaign, we also organized virtual workshops to welcome new teachers to join the campaign. So some teachers or citizen scientists that was willing to participate but wasn't trained, we held some virtual workshops and we trained a really good number of teachers during these years that after being trained joined the campaign, and it also helped to the data collection.
One last question, because I know we have a lot of presenters, but if another partnership would like to mirror what you guys have done in their area, did you put something together like a guide or how to do this type of campaign?
No, we didn't, but we can.
Yes, we can. Nice idea, Peter. Thank you very much. We are going to compile.
It could be a good exercise just to write a guide on how to, well, Brian and you can do it too, and Peter, on how to start a campaign and how to involve people in it.
And I'm just going to read the chat. Claudia also mentioned challenges linked with art helped as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important to involve people in other kind of challenges because not all the students are linked with science, for example. So if we can invite them to contribute in other ways as art, for example, as some challenge could encourage them to improve their participation in campaigns.
One
And
thing I want.
One more, please. And the tutorial is very important in different language. The people have a more facility for use.
Yes, we created tutorials in Spanish, English, and Portuguese, and that, as Anna was mentioning, it was a really helpful tool for all the participants of the campaign on how to collect data, how to do the different protocols. Yes, it was a good tool to the tutorials.
One thing
and everything that we do in the 3 languages of the region. That's also really important to have people engaged and make them feel welcome and involved and doing in their own language and can do it in their own language. And the webinars, we also have translation and all the materials are in the 3 languages.
Yep, that's great. One thing I want to mention too, and I want to say thank you especially for you all compiling the and getting together all the tree species that are now part of the Globe Observer Trees tool, so we can do identification of the tree genus and species, because that was especially with the LAC region, that was a highly sought after part of the Globe Observer Trees tool. So thank you for that, because I know that's a pretty monumental task, and over 20,000, I believe 21,000, that you've gone through, and but thank you for that, because that's extremely vital. Not just for the students, but for researchers as well, and the citizen scientists to know what they're actually looking at.
It took a long time to convince the DS team to upload all the species. And it took lots of emails pushing and begging and praying. But yes, it's important to have all those trees uploaded into the app.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much to the team of Andrea, Claudia, Ana, Mariana, and Josefina. So thank you so much for the presentation and answering the questions. And feel free, anyone who's on here, to continue asking some questions, and they can the team, LAC team, can look there and answer any questions that they have. So we're going to move on to the next one. And as I mentioned, we don't have these presenters here. As I mentioned, Lenka is on holiday, and Sia cannot be here as well. So we're going to show this though, because this is a really great one, because they have, especially Lenka with the European Phenology Campaign and being on the Regional Coordination Office for Globe, Europe, and Eurasia. They presented multiple times at during our campaign, as you know, because they lead the spring and fall campaigns for the European Phenology Campaign. So I'm going to play this now. And I want to recommend, though, if you have questions regarding this presentation, please feel free to put this in the chat, because I get a whole basically recording of the chat log, and then whatever questions I see regarding this presentation, I will send to Lenka and Sia. So I will get that to them, and then we can get those answered. And I'll see who asked those questions, and I'll get those answers to you. And they said they're good to do that. So feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and I will see those when I get the recording back from Zoom. I will see that chat log. So let me go ahead and play this now.
Greetings from the Europe and Eurasia Regional Coordination Office. My name is Chila. And I'm Lenka. And we would like to share with you how trees help new schools discover the GLOBE program. We have been observing trees together with schools in our Europe and Eurasia region for many years within the European Phenology Campaign. The campaign has been running twice a year, each spring with observation of greening up, and each autumn with observing of greening down of trees. We started the campaign because we wanted to support active involvement of GLOBE schools and attract new schools and increase the GLOBE community in our region. We also wanted to help schools to kind of get involved in the GLOBE activities and through them get to know the nature around their school and the environment. The campaign has been running since the year 2016 and it grew and grew over the time. So on this slide, you can see how many schools are involved for each run of the campaign. Many of these schools are experienced schools or joining the campaign repeatedly, but many of these schools are new to GLOBE, and the Phenology campaign was their first connection or starting point for the GLOBE activities. What we have learned over the years of organizing the campaign is that phenology is a really ideal topic for schools that are starting in GLOBE because the observations itself are not too demanding and also no expensive or hardly available tools are needed. It is also suitable for students from kindergartens to high schools, and this helps also to attract like wider range of schools. We learn how much students enjoy being outdoors, learning about their tree and about their nature environment, and also how much they enjoy using apps, just like a GLOBE Observer app. Schools in the campaign were always very interested in cooperation with other schools, and this was the same for the experienced school, but also for those schools that have been joining GLOBE newly. The campaign is also a great starting point for exploring other GLOBE topics related to trees. So the schools often start with phenology and then they go for discovering carbon cycle or urban heat island effect, for example. What we also learned that sharing is very important for those who are experienced, but especially to those who are new in the campaign. So we organized many webinars where schools were able to learn from scientists and also share their findings together and then learn and get inspired by each other. For this reason, we also have a discussion forum and Padlet where schools contribute their findings. We believe that the phenology campaign encourages creativity and the connection of students with trees in a different way. For a couple of years, we've been organizing the Tree Reporters Challenge that invited students to interview their trees in a creative way and to uncover their stories via creative formats such as videos or magazine articles. We were happy to receive many contributions ranging from funny, humorous stories to some emotional reflections or even some scientific insight. There are also some big achievements within the phenology campaign, such as the case of Croatian students from Paraguay High School who used GLOBE Phenology campaign activities to advocate for more trees in their city. And the town council responded in a positive way and promised their support. But this is just an example of where the phenology campaign can take you. The important thing is to start, to take it as an adventure, to take small steps, try a few activities, and you will see where you will end up. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
All right, you can see that, huge group of students, educators, and schools participating in the European Phenology Campaign. And with their spring and autumn campaigns, they've added to them every year and every season during the spring and fall, autumn. You can see they have a great group getting together and adding things all the time. So, feel free to put any questions in the chat for them. If anybody has any, thing they like to discuss, I can't see if anybody has their hand raised or anything, Peter. But
yeah, there are a couple comments because we all know how great the group is.
Sure.
Sabrina from Italy says, I and my school in Italy have to thank very much the GLOBE European and Eurasia staff. because they made us get in touch with the globe community, starting with trees, and every day is a new exciting discovery. So it just shows the extent of their campaigns and how they reach from country to country. And Anna, as well, mentioned this is an exciting project. Congratulations on the great participations of schools. And a question for them when we do meet with them is, how do they motivate schools? I mean, how do they recruit schools every year? Because their campaign gets bigger and bigger. So that's something that we always strive to do, is just extend on what we're doing.
Excellent. Great question. I'll get that to them, and I'll get back to the community here with our campaign, you know, how they, the answer to that question from them. So, but thank you for that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move over to highlighting some posters from the annual meeting. We have 4 posters to be presented today, and we are going to do the first one. It's going to be Larissa. She is here with us. The Unifying Power of Science, highlighting contributions of Globe community members, GDI fellows. So take it away, Larissa.
Thank you very much, Brian. And it's all amazing people who are really put a lot of work into developing this poster, but most importantly, they did a very important work throughout the whole year. I would like to really say a big thank you to all Globe leaders who are also United Nations Global Diplomacy Fellows. They graduated with honors from the fellowship program. All of them came to to New York for graduation ceremony and have been really attending a special graduation ceremony at the UN headquarters in New York City. So I would like to, I know that during the annual meeting we had many questions about the specifics. Please, we're happy to answer any questions after the presentation. We don't have a lot of time today, but I want to say a few words about the research work in the studies that they went through. And instead of me talking about this, some of them are here. I would like to really ask them to say a few words about their experience studying at the UN and being Global Diplomacy Fellow. And also, I have a list of research papers that they published. They publishing, actually, it was accepted into the UN Special Edition, a special journal at the UN, so it will be published shortly. And with that, I would like to really give the floor to Mariana Savino, who is here today. I know you are a star of many different shows, Mariana. So I know you are a very popular person, so, but hats off to you. I don't know how you did it. It was really extensive study. It was just really a lot of work. But again, hats off to you for not only being the Globe leader and having a position in the Latin American Caribbean office manager. So, but at the same time, you're now a part of the UN system and you are a Global Diplomacy Fellow. And that's what you do. You do who you are. You're a science diplomat. At least this is how you're being recognized from the UN perspective. And the floor is to you, Mariana, for a few words, and then I will ask a few others to really share their experiences as well. Go ahead, Mariana.
Thank you, Larissa, for the opportunity. It was a really excellent and interesting program. My background is in international relations, so I was really pleased to join this fellowship. I think it really deepened my expertise in international relations and international collaboration, and it's really directly linked with my job at the RCO for the Globe program. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for all the people that was in the same cohort. It was a really interesting team. We interacted a lot through the sessions, and now we still are interacting through the WhatsApp group. So Yes, it was a great opportunity, and being in New York and in the UN headquarters was an excellent experience, and sharing breakfast with you and all the fellows before the graduation was a great opportunity to share opinions and ideas and plans for the future. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mariana. And we had many questions about your research papers. And for those of you who are interested reading more, it will be published at the UN Special Edition Journal devoted to the Global Multilateral Diplomacy Fellow. And Mariana's paper theme was Global Education, Science, Diplomacy, and World Citizenship, Strategic Convergence for Sustainable Development in the 21st Century. It was very well done research. Congratulations on finishing up on time. And your paper has been accepted into and will be published shortly. Thank you, Mariana. Hats off to you. So we also would like to acknowledge another amazing Globe leader. Many years with Globe. For those of you who saw her presentation during the Globe annual meeting, you probably were amazed. The really an amazing and very unique role that Laura played, starting from being a student in Globe and going all the way to being a country coordinator in Estonia. And Laura, I would like to give a floor to you to really share a few words about your experience, and congratulations on your successful finishing, completing this program and being recognized as a science diplomat going forward as well. Hopefully Laura is still with us. Maybe not. All right. If Laura is not here, then I would like to give the floor to our GISN Globe GISN member who is also a Globe not long time, but she joined a couple years ago and became a new member of GISN, Dr. Felicia Gubata. She really successfully completed her research at the UN, and also her paper has been accepted into the UN special edition being published shortly. Felicia, if you're still with us and if you can hear me, okay, do you mind taking the floor and saying a few words? Yeah.
Okay.
All the way from Nigeria?
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm calling from Nigeria. Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, we can hear you. Felicia, we can hear you. All right.
Seems like she can't hear us.
Yeah. Felicia, can you hear us?
She just dropped out. I'm going to admit her again.
All right. So while she's trying to do it, let's just go to, for the sake of saving time, we have an amazing another UN Global Diplomacy Fellow, Christine Kode, who is a Globe teacher for more than 10 years. Christine, if you are with us, you don't mind unmuting yourself and saying a few words about the importance of science, diplomacy, and education.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity. I'm so grateful to be able to be a participant of the Globe community. Larissa introduced me into this, like she said, over 10 years ago. And then recently completing the GDI fellowship program was an amazing accomplishment to be able to, I say, interweave both Globe and the United Nations SDGs, or the Sustainable Development Goals, together. And that's what I've been working on with my high school students in my engineering program, is doing research with Globe and then incorporating how the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals also play into this. My paper is on the impact that teaching diplomacy, and in my case, it's science diplomacy, in high school education, has on students, and how I feel that it's absolutely imperative that we include it as part of our curriculum. So again, I want to thank Larissa for all of her support and help. Hello to my cohort members. I love you guys and miss you. And And thank you for allowing me to participate. And I look forward to sending some tree data with some of my students. So thank you.
Excellent.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to again double check with Peter if Felicia is able to overcome those barriers.
She did join, and also you have Elida Moreno as well. That joined.
Elida has joined. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's just
Hello.
try. Let's just try connect with Felicia first from Nigeria while she can, while the technology cooperates. Felicia, we should be able to hear you. Go ahead. All right. I guess we will go to Elida. Congratulations to Elida Moreno, who is also a class 2025. Really successfully studying and finishing a very prestigious program at the UN on global diplomacy, and also doing her research in publishing a paper. Go ahead, Elida.
Hello. Nice to see you again. Christine, Marianne, Andrea, Larissa. So yeah, I'm from Paraguay and I manage the Benjamin Franklin Science Corner, that is an American space between the Scientific Society of Paraguay and the US Embassy in Paraguay. And actually now we are having a workshop with Arduino. We are teaching electronics, about electricity. So this is part of our winter program, science club program. So let me show you around. We are having now an event here. So yeah, since from the Science Corner, we promote different programs to help young Paraguayans to discover the favorite area of science that they want to pursue in the future. And also I am the GLOBE program country coordinator here in Paraguay. So in my paper, I'm just putting all the information about the programs that we have here in Paraguay and how these programs help us to connect with the science policy that we have here in Paraguay, and also how to measure the impact of our program. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and nice to see you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Elida, and congratulations on your research paper being published and successful successful graduation. And it was really great to see you in person. It was really fantastic. We basically all working via Zoom so many days and months, but seeing all of you in New York, it was very special. Thank you very much. And I also would like to acknowledge other fellows who really put a lot of work in GLOBE for many, many years, such as Elias Destin. He is from Benin. He's a country coordinator and also a very successful science diplomacy fellow. He is not able to make it today, but we really would like to acknowledge his excellent work in GLOBE in Rising Star in Science Diplomacy. So, and also I would like to acknowledge Dr. Maria Carsaga, who is the first woman PhD in astrophysics in Burkina Faso. She is the Globe GISN member. And if you would like to meet with her and learn about her work in Globe GISN, you can always stop at the GISN meetings whenever they will be organized. Also, for those of you who speak French, you might be interested that she is a very popular speaker on TED Talk. So, and her TED Talks are really famous. So you can check her TED Talks mostly in French on YouTube. So, but she is a fantastic Globe GISN member and also UN Global Diplomacy Fellow. Again, GLOBE is just celebrated the 30th anniversary and celebrated the amazing work with 127 countries. For those of you who is really representing many of these countries. You should be very proud of your contributions. And as we say, science really unites us across the globe. That was the topic of our poster, the unifying power of science. But those fellows who really would like to make inroads into the sort of take the next step into how these scientific relationships are being organized, they all successfully moving to the next level of this knowledge, because they are in the realm of science diplomacy. And this is very important, how it's being managed and how it's really benefiting the students and the educators around the world. With that, I hope I did not forget anyone, but again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know Laura was here a few minutes ago, but I think she has a lovely family and small children, so maybe one of those moments. Again, many thanks and hats off to all of you. You're doing an amazing, amazing work representing Globe in many different high-level UN events, and you're really taking you really taking it to the next level in terms of us working with 127 countries. Thank you very much. And back to you, Brian.
Thank you so much, Larissa, and everyone that's part of this group. Yeah, what an amazing group. Just yeah, I can't even express it in words. Just the amount of greatness that's involved with this.
Can I have one question, Brian?
Yeah.
First off, Larissa and the rest of the group, you guys have a lot of great comments, a lot of congratulations, a lot of great work. Two of them, one from Tracy and I, that said we're a bit jealous. Gonna admit to that. And I noticed you posted everyone's title to their presentation, to their publications, I should say. But is there a link where we can go to if we wanted to read the presentation of the publication, I should say?
Yes, it's right now it's in the office of His Excellency Ambassador Suazo in the headquarters in UN in New York. So the UN has own time frame in terms of publishing different reports. So as far as I understand, it will be published in maybe between 3 to 6 months after they graduate. So yes, but if you really would like to read those papers, I'm sure all of our fellows would be happy to share their research work with any of you. So I could not speak on behalf of everybody, but I hope that majority of our fellows wouldn't mind really sharing their research work, because quite honestly, it's amazing. What they did, it's really fantastic.
Thank you, Larissa, and thank you to the rest of the group there for sharing your work with us. All right, over to you, Brian.
All right.
Brian, sorry, Brian, I was just reminded that I completely forgot. All fellows either already presented at the UN General Assembly or will be presenting in the September. So for those of you who are interested in science aspect of UN General Assembly, and there is a lot of efforts going on at the General Assembly in science and science education. So all our fellows are invited to speak at the General Assembly Science Summit, and we will be getting ready for that during the summer. But many of them spoke last year as well. So kudos to all of them. And question was for me in the chat room. My role in this, I'm truly honored to serve on a GIO Globe STEPI team. But in relations to United Nations, I am truly privileged to be a teaching faculty at the UN Global Diplomacy Fellowship Program, which is in multilateral diplomacy division in the UN in New York. So, and again, all of us, we are happy to answer any of your questions. But from my personal, from the bottom of my heart, these amazing, amazing globe leaders really making a difference across the globe. And they are the faces of global diplomacy and science diplomacy, especially. So I expect all of them they all are the rising stars in science diplomacy. Many thanks to Globe. Thank you very much, Brian, and back to you.
All right. Thank you, Larissa. Amazing, amazing stuff. All right. Now we're going to go to a Duevac Primary School, and it's going to be talking about everything that amazing thing that they've done, and we're going to pass it over to Sajana. I
Yes,
believe.
I hear you.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead, and Christina. So go ahead and take it away.
Christina, you are here.
Yes, yes. Hey, hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. I'm Snježana Marković-Zaraja. I'm biology and chemistry teacher, globe teacher, and globe trainer from Karlovac Dubovac Primary School from Croatia. And today, with my colleague Christina, who is math and IT teacher and globe teacher, we are present our poster, which was a part of virtual exhibition on annual meeting 2025. So while working on the poster with our students, we wanted to showcase our 20 years engagement in GLOW program. In late 2004, our school joined the GLOW program, and in early 2005, we installed our first weather station in front of the school. In the top right photo, you can see our first generation, our first recognition for globe activities, and our chart of precipitation diagram from this year, because that was the first year we began continuous atmospheric measurement. We preserved that chart original from 2005. Since those beginnings, we expand our globe activities to include atmospheric, pedological, hydrological, biometric measurement, especially we especially focus on land cover and carbon cycle.
Over the past few years, we have focused intensively on land cover and phenology. As a result, we developed educational materials for biometrics and phenological observation displayed on the left side of the poster. These resources were presented at the Globe Europe conference in Ljubljana in November 2024. Since these topics are integrated into our biology, chemistry, and math curricula, we designed custom worksheets for measuring tree height and circumference tailored to various age groups. The left side of the poster displays examples of those materials for elementary age students, elementary globe, upper primary and secondary school levels. Our materials are created for grades 3 through 8 and high school students. We have also developed special materials for kindergartens, and we hold workshops for kindergarten children. Although the Globe Observer app allows tree height measurements, our goal was to apply mathematical knowledge in biology and globe activities adjusted to each age group. Younger children used simplified or estimated methods, for example, visual assessment for preschoolers. Older students use tools like pencil and mirrors, while upper grade students use a clinometer, though they often don't fully grasp the concept of tangents. That's why we teach measurements techniques in a way they can intuitively understand. In each worksheet, students apply several methods to measure tree height, compare results, and draw conclusions. Their tree measurements are then linked to biological and chemical processes occurring within the trees. In September 2024, we launched a collaboration with a school in Marcalo con Canzone in Italy. The project led in Italy in Sabrina Pellizzari. The top center of the poster shows our Padlet with shared activities and outcomes. The project initially focused on the globe phenologically campaign, but quickly expanded into other areas. The Padlet showcases all our measurements, presentations made by students during online meetings throughout the year, and even a historic component where students explore cultural landmarks from the partner school's town. At the bottom center of the poster,
you can see some of the awards we received during the academic year. At the Globe, Europe and Eurasia conference in February 2025, our students presented a project about the Karlovac promenade, which won an award. Our student Zoe Benkovic also created a video in which she has a dialogue with a tree and received special recognition for this creative work.
I think you're muted.
Okay. Each year we work on a research project with our students. The badges on the poster represent some of those projects. We are especially proud for project monitoring and protection of marmot alley, which we presented in Fredonia 2024 on annual meeting. You can see on the bottom of the poster two articles. Two articles are about our work and were published into Star and STEM Stories website last year. One article is about our students participate on annual meeting 2024, and other second article is about our international project and cooperation with Italian school from Marcalo con Cassone. So I'm happy that Sabrina Pellizzari is today with us. We are also very proud for our 2024 research project, where we analyzed the carbon cycle and tree height in Karlovac Promenade using satellite image via open altimetry, Earth engine, Earth map, and globe visualization. You can see this picture next to our badges. This project was awarded as one of the best at the 2025 Globe Europe and Eurasia conference. We presented this project on Croatian national competition, and also, as you can see on the picture bottom right, our students presented this project on webinar Trees Around the Globe in September 2024. The students in the picture who presented at this webinar are now in high school. Girls is still with us, so we continue working with new generation of Globe students. Also, I wanted to say in 2025, our students completed another research project called Black Promenade in Karlovac, and this project presented on Croatian national competition. We compare results from Karlovac Promenade, results of tree height and carbon cycle from Karlovac Promenade to the results of Black Promenade. So results surprised us, and so we hope on some next webinar our students may present this, our latest project. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to read a couple comments from the chat that our colleagues have written. Sabrina from Italy says, great work, great school, and great teachers. And thank you for the collaboration. Tracy mentions she can't wait to see this video, this true video that she recorded. It seems like such a great idea. She can't wait to see it. And she also mentions the data sheets. You create it look great. I agree. I love the fact that you created data sheets for different audiences, younger generations, perhaps more pictures, easier for them to understand, and then, a little bit more difficult for the rest of the students as they get older. I don't think we do that enough. We just do one sheet and think that's good enough for everyone, and that is obviously not the case. And I'm just looking at your badges. That is an amazing amount of badges and certificates. That looks like you would make some kind of army general upset with all those badges on their jacket.
Yes.
And I could see how hard it is too to put 20 years in, try to distill 20 years of amazing activities, as much as I know you've done over 20 years, into one poster. So that must have been a lot of work, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the image on the right, the young gentleman, I was like, I remember him. I remember him from somewhere. So not just the trees, but when you said the annual meeting, I'm thinking that's where I met him. And I just remember, like, not only are they great students, but just really like great young kids, really inspiring young students, and well behaved. And so I'm not surprised they're doing such great work.
Thank you.
Okay,
Are
and
there any other? Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
yeah, something that Sajana shared with me earlier today. Those of you who are at the Globe annual meeting remembered the video that was shown where Dr. Amy Chen from NASA headquarters choked up a little bit, as many of us did, with the poem, the Globe poem was mentioned. And I'm going to jump to this, and Sajana can share this, but I put it on a slide. She shared with me this poem that was created by. I believe it was a student of hers called The Old Oak and the Globe Girl. And feel free to talk about this. People can read this on the screen, or you can read it, Najana, that's fine. But I just wanted to share this on here. So if there's anything you'd like to say about this, Sajana?
I can read,
Okay, great.
but I don't know if you people read.
You want me to read it?
yourself. Can I read?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. This is my student and Christina students. This poem made by Zoe in May 2025. And this is a poem which is a part of Globe community poem. I'm an old oak standing tall on a hill. 85 years, I'm standing here still. Storms have come, winters have gone, but I still hold on. I've seen the seasons rise and fall. I've seen trees cut, plant and all. Walkers passed, they never see. The stories looked inside of me. But then she came, so small, so kind, with curious eyes and open mind. She sat by my roots, notebook in hand, a globe girl learning to understand. She listened close and she knew that nature speaks how I'm blue. I'm part of globe, she smiled wide. We care for earth, we're on its side. Through globe she learns to watch and see the secret signs of every tree. She tracks the rain, the soil, the sun, and teaches others what must be done. I told her of birds that once would sing, of clear skies and the joy they bring, of changes I felt deep in my rings, of quieter woods and shorter springs. But her voice was strong, full of hope. You are not alone. We are part of Globe. We are the children who will stay and help the earth find a better way. So, while stand and time moves on, new trees will rise when I'm gone. And thanks to Globe, the world will see the power of one girl and one tree.
That's
Thank
awesome.
you for your attention.
That's awesome.
I'm actually tearing up a little bit listening to that. Holy cow. That's amazing.
Same here.
Amazing.
And I didn't realize I was not muted, and I'm saying that's awesome.
Yeah.
But Zoa made video for Globe Europe and Eurasia conference in February. Yes, this is video which I sent Brian today.
Yeah, this is amazing. Just as Brian said, I have tears in my eyes because this is really going very deep. It's really something that your soul says, right? So thank you. An amazing poem. Amazing.
Thank you.
All right, we are past the time, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through we have two posters here yet to do. I'm going to go through this one. This isn't, of course, my poster, but I'm going to quickly go through this. And if you have any questions regarding to this, I will get these to Morella to answer. And you may have seen this because this was presented by students at a past webinar several months ago at one of our campaign webinars. I believe it was 2 months ago. So how green is Varaždin in Croatia? And basically what they were focusing on here is they were looking at the changing land cover in this area, how green is Varaždin. So they're looking at the change in the forested area of 2016, between 2016 and 2022. So they went out and they did comparisons. They were looking at some maps. They were going out and taking observations. They were taking temperature measurements in certain areas. They were going and looking at the globe data in the database from these time periods between 2016 and 2022. So they were looking at how the change in this land cover has affected everything from habitats, habitats for plants, how it affected the vegetation as well, the disappearance of woodland areas, and the changing of biodiversity in Variston. And it comes, the changing of forested areas. Some were torn down for for buildings. Some were torn down to increase agricultural land as well. So it's a really great poster to check out. So check it out when this recording comes out. Stop it during the recording and look at this a little more directly, so you can look at this and check it out. You can also go into our webinar page on the campaign and see this poster presented a lot better than I'm doing right now, because it focuses on the actual research project and the students who did this research at their school in Variston. So just wanted to highlight this because Morella and the students in Variston school have been a great part of our campaign. And finishing up, those of you, a lot of you here have been part of the campaign for the duration, for 7 years. This is one that was presented, had lots of great comments and discussion on the website at the Globe annual meeting about this poster. So, thank you for all the great comments. So this is just a synopsis. I was thinking there's a lot to put in here in 7 years, and we're just seeing Snejana and Christina's poster with 20 years. So now I feel ashamed to say that it took a while to put 7 years in versus their 20 years. So, but yeah, so, I have it broken down into, synopsis about what the campaign is. And of course, at NASA and Globe, of course, we always like to do metrics. So we like to focus on, who's participating, how long it's been, where all the data is coming from, how much data there is. And then, of course, one of our biggest parts of our campaign are the monthly webinars. Then we also add those special webinars that we give, that was mentioned by the folks from the Latin America Caribbean region. We've given presentations for that region. We've given from the Near East and North Africa regions. We've spoken to a lot of folks, a lot of groups in India. I know Peter Falcon and I have done presentations at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, our times, to folks around the world. So, all bringing in the trees around the globe perspective. And I know Peter Nelson has done, presentations all across the world, all hours of the evening and mornings and whatever. But then I wanted to also focus on, one of the big things, since this is a student research campaign, we have had an increasingly, I shouldn't say that, we have had increasing numbers of campaign-related IBSS projects being submitted each year. So basically, the first year would have been since we started in September of 2018. The first year that was, the trees campaign-related IBSS projects were spring of 2019, and then we've had progressively increasing numbers of campaign-related projects each year from 2019, 2020, all the way through this year, 2025. And this, of course, isn't an exhaustive, image, but these are just some screenshots of ones that we've had that are campaign-related from active campaign members in schools. You can see we have everything from Ecuador to the U.S., Thailand, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, Ghana, Croatia. And if your country's not in there, I apologize. I've been doing one of these posters every year since the beginning of the campaign, and I changed the structure of this a little bit, but I always try to include, some of the newer ones as well, and some of the older ones too. So, and then we have these little trees in the middle where, we focus on, how many webinars we've had, how many participants we've had, as of now, we've had over, since the beginning of the campaign, over 12,000 webinar participants. As you know, we're in 69 countries. We've had the intensive observation periods. We've had a bunch of blogs up there. And we also include the blogs that are part of the Globe Observer, because they tie into our campaign as well. The ones that trees and land cover related as well. So, and we've had over, 150 specifically related IBSS projects, and we've had over 100 scientists from inside NASA and out, and external to NASA present as well as part of the campaign. So this first 7 years has been pretty amazing, and we have great numbers here. So hope you enjoyed this poster. So I'm going to stop there because we are we always have the webinar set for 90 minutes, and we are at like 105 minutes now. So I appreciate everyone who has stayed on this entire time. But as you know, we always have a jam-packed agenda every time we have a webinar. So, but we highly appreciate everyone presenting today, and we just wanted to keep that community flow going since we started off the week with the Globe Annual Meeting. Super early for some people like Peter. On the West Coast of the United States, like 5 in the morning. Actually, some of the Alaska folks, is 4 in the morning, I guess, and then some really late for some other countries as well. So, anybody have any last-minute things they'd like to say before we adjourn for this webinar? And
Brian, can we take a group picture just to? I don't know. To me, it's just one of the very amazing experiences. I don't know if or if this is okay for us to post it on social media on a Globe account, but since it will be on YouTube, I guess it's okay, right?
Yep. Let me see if I can get the whole. Yep, I have the gallery view up now. I can do a screenshot.
All right, that would be really nice. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cheers.
Cheers.
Got it. All right.
Oh.
Very cool.
All right, that's very good. And I guess I would not be exaggeration to say that these webinars are truly outstanding, and please join me to applaud Brian, Peter, who really doing an amazing, outstanding job. So kudos to you.
Thank you, Larissa. Yeah, it's near and dear to all of our hearts in our as campaign, leads for this. So yeah, it's been
it's priceless. What you're doing is absolutely priceless, and it's such a priceless resource. It stays online on YouTube on the Globe channel, and it's absolutely priceless. So thank you. Hats off to you.
And we don't have the specific August one set yet. We don't have a date because we are working on that. And Peter and I are meeting on Monday to finalize that information. So we'll have that out sometime Monday. So and you'll see that come out on the Globe website as well, and in the newsletter. So it's just
Thank you.
We're not finished it. We usually have it by this time, but with everything going on with the Globe Annual Meeting and everything, so we just don't have that info out yet. So, but it'll be there. And then with this recording, it should be out soon. Like as I mentioned, every time, it all depends how fast Zoom gets the recording back to me. Since this was a long one, it's probably going to take longer. So I am out of the office tomorrow. So I'm going to hit the stop record now. Let me hit that here.